Hey there! In this video, what we are going to be talking about is as a sales user or distributor user in Beacon, how do you get your inventory and how do you find it once you have it? So what I have here and what you should be seeing are two examples of Beacon. We have Beacon on the web over here on the right hand side and then Beacon mobile on the left hand side. So this is what you will see when you log in on either of these apps. You'll see these representations of what we call the dashboard. So the first question is, how do you get your inventory? And the answer to that is inventory is transferred to you. See, in Beacon, inventory is governed by custody. So whose custody is it in, who is responsible for it and accountable for it. So when inventory becomes yours, it's transferred from the organization into your custody. And in order to access that, you have to accept it. So on the dashboard, you can go to your inventory, and we have this helpful transfers widget here. Same on mobile, just hit the inventory tab, and there is the transfers widget. Now you can click on any of these individual transfers to jump straight to it, but you can also click on this link to transfers to jump over to that. And what you'll see then is a representation of what transfers you have available to review or take action on. So in this instance, I have a ton of pending transfers, and that is perfect for our purposes. So you can expand any of these. You can click on them to open up their detail. And once you're in the detail page, you can review the address, you can review the tracking information if it's been added, any notes and comments, but more importantly, down in the bottom, you can see what is being transferred to you. So when you actually get a shipment, you can review this transfer to make sure it matches. That's how you stay accountable for your own inventory. So making sure that nothing's being put in your inventory that you never received, or if they send you extra, that is something you can work out with them. But you want to make sure that it matches the shipment. This should reflect reality. So again, on the web, you can do that here. You can even export a packing slip of what was in this transfer if you need any documentation. We allow you to add images or comments. So let's say something doesn't match, you can upload an image and let them know, this is what I'm seeing in the actual box. But the key thing is to accept or decline the transfer. If it doesn't work for you, like it's not the right inventory, you can decline the transfer. That will kick it back to the manufacturer with a hold status for them to review and figure out what's going on. Or I'll open up a different transfer here on the mobile. You can actually accept the transfer. And you can see down in the bottom we have three icons, and one of them is a green check mark. So that would mean that we can actually accept that transfer. So I could click on that check mark right here, or I can open up the transfer itself, and there's a big green accept button at the bottom. When you accept inventory on a transfer, then it moves into your custody. So the key thing here is not to leave any of your transfers pending. You want to bring that in as long as you've received it, because then you can actually use it in the case and it'll be available for you. So that is how you get inventory into your custody. And if you want to review your inventory, I prefer to do it on the web. You can go to the All Inventory section, and that'll show all the devices that are in your custody. I like it on the web because you can really look at all of this detail, spread out. But even on mobile, you can go to Inventory, All Inventory, and review each device. Expand a row to review the, more detail, and then even click into the device to review, its real deep detail, its production information, any of its history, all that kind of stuff. So that's how you can view your inventory and get an idea of what you have. Using the search and the filters up above, you can see, how much of a particular item you have. But I think a bigger question is, if you're in a case, how do you find the inventory you're looking for? So I'm going to go to an event on both screens here, and I'll open up an open event. Here we go. And then we'll go into the Mark Used Inventory screen. And so if you're looking for more information on how to process a case, we have videos on that as well. I kind of sped through it here so we can actually just focus in on, the purpose of the video itself, which is to find the inventory you're looking for. So you can use the search field here to look up any inventory. If you hit the magnifying glass, it'll populate, just general results for you. But use the search and the filters to narrow things down. And then basically, search by catalog number, search by lot number. If you have a barcode, for instance, you can click the little icon in the search bar with the square with a line through it, or use the scan to add feature. These will allow you to scan a barcode and pull it up right there on your screen, as long as the inventory is in your account and has the UDI added to its detail. And then the last thing I want to review here is this custodian setting here. If you are part of a distributorship, like I'm a sales user and I'm part of a distributorship and we share inventory, then the inventory may not be in my custody. It may be in the distributors, or it may not all be in my custody. Some of it might be in the distributors and I have access to it. The whole point of this is to make it easier on you to not have to transfer inventory every time you hand inventory off to one of your other reps or distributors, or every time you grab something from the shared warehouse. This is why we have shared inventory. But if you're not seeing what you're looking for, it might be in the distributor's inventory then. So change this custody filter to rep and all inventory shared by distributors. That'll show everything in my custody and what's shared with me. And once that searches, you'll see here we have a few new options. So anything with red custody is shared with me, but I can still use it because we have shared custody. If I want to see just what's shared with me and not what's in my custody, I'll use that bottom option. Same thing here on the mobile. You can change the custody just in the same way. And there it is, the items that are shared with me by my distributor. So these are important things, I think, to make sure you're getting the inventory you need into your custody and that you know how to find it in a case. So I hope you learned something, and tune back into our next video to learn more.